Europe brought back an extinct horse. Then they put it on a mountain in Spain, not Mongolia, Spain. Strange choice, right? 2 years later, that horse started stopping wildfires, replanting forests, and saving a dying town by pure instinct. No plan, no orders, just nature doing its thing. And barely anyone is talking about it. Back in the day, the Przewalski's horse, basically the original wild horse, roamed all over Central Asia. Then humans did what humans do. We hunted them, stole their land, and by the 1960s, they were wiped out in the wild. Just a few left behind bars and zoos. Fast forward, a tiny group of scientists manages to bring them back from the brink. We're talking 12 surviving horses, barely enough for a bloodline. They get reintroduced to Mongolia, their old stomping grounds. All good so far. But then comes the weird part. In 2023, someone gives the green light to release them in Spain. Not a steppe, not a grassland. A rugged, overgrown mountain zone called the Iberian Highlands. So what's going on here? This place is massive. We're talking 2.1 million acres stretching across central Spain. It's got everything: forests, rocky canyons, plateaus, plains. On the surface, it looks like a postcard. But dig a little deeper, and the story gets messier. Historically, the Iberian Highlands were alive with human activity. For centuries, this land was managed by shepherds, farmers, and small rural communities. Sheep and goats grazed the hills. Locals cut wood, cleared brush, and kept the ecosystem in check without even realizing it. It wasn't wild, but it worked. In 2005, one wildfire scorched nearly 30,000 acres. And it wasn't an isolated event. Fires became more frequent and harder to control. As the land changed, so did the life it supported. Birds that nest on open ground, reptiles that need sun-soaked clearings, small mammals that rely on grassland, gone or in steep decline. And without prey, many predators vanished too. The food chain started to unravel. Biodiversity nosedived. What you're left with is a region that looks wild and free but is actually unbalanced, fire-prone, and ecologically unstable. In May 2023, something unusual happened in Spain. 10 Przewalski's horses, once extinct in the wild, were released into a protected zone of the Iberian Highlands. By November, 16 more joined them, flown in from a reserve in Hungary. It wasn't some rushed wildlife stunt. It was part of a carefully planned ecological experiment with a slightly sci-fi twist, bring back a prehistoric horse to fix modern problems. But no, they didn't just open the trailer door and shout, "Good luck." First, the horses were placed in a large fenced enclosure. They had food, shelter, salt licks, everything they needed to adjust. Think of it like a wild horse Airbnb, complete with room service. Once they got used to the place, the gates opened. Now they roam freely across 14,000 acres of forest and grassland, grazing, trampling, and unknowingly reshaping the ecosystem. Here's the wild part. Each horse eats up to 88 pounds of vegetation every single day. That includes tough shrubs, tall grasses, and even young trees, stuff most farm animals would ignore. Because they're wild, they don't linger in one spot. They stay on the move, which naturally prevents overgrazing. What they leave behind is a patchwork landscape. Short grass in one area, taller brush in another. This kind of variety is perfect for biodiversity. Insects, birds, reptiles, even small mammals all start coming back. But maybe the biggest win: they're helping prevent wildfires. By clearing out all that dry, flammable growth, they're reducing the fuel load naturally. No machines, no chemicals. Just a bunch of prehistoric horses doing what they've always done. And almost no one's talking about it. Let's talk about the poop. Yeah, we're going there, because it matters more than you think. Przewalski's horses don't just eat a lot. They also leave behind a trail of natural fertilizer. Their manure is loaded with nitrogen, phosphorus, and other nutrients that plants love. No chemicals, no machines, just good old-fashioned compost, straight from the source. And it doesn't stop there. As they walk, their hooves gently break up the soil, helping air and water reach deeper layers. That means rain soaks in instead of running off, and the ground stays healthier. But here's the part most people miss. These horses are accidental gardeners. Some seeds get caught in their fur. Others pass through their system and land in little piles of fertilizer, ready to grow. As they wander, graze, and go about their day, they're quietly spreading new plants all over the landscape. The rewilding effort in Spain is bigger than just horses. The whole project, called Rewilding Spain, is part of a broader movement to bring back key species that once kept ecosystems balanced. And that includes some seriously underappreciated heroes: vultures. Yeah, vultures. The birds people usually associate with death, bad omens, or creepy movie scenes. Turns out, they're absolutely essential for a healthy landscape. In particular, this project is reintroducing two heavy hitters, the cinereous vulture and the bearded vulture. These aren't your average backyard birds. They're massive. The Cinereus vulture is one of the largest birds of prey in the world, with a wingspan of nearly 3 meters. The bearded vulture, slightly smaller, but with a way weirder skill set. More on that in a second. So, why vultures? Because they're nature's cleanup crew. When animals die, whether from natural causes, accidents, or even old age, vultures show up. They don't kill, they just clean. And they do it fast. In a matter of hours, a group of vultures can strip a carcass down to bone, leaving nothing behind but clean ground. No smell. No mess. No lingering bacteria. That's huge for public health and land management. Fewer carcasses lying around means fewer disease outbreaks, fewer flies and scavengers, and cleaner water sources. It also means farmers don't have to worry about disposing of dead livestock in expensive, regulated ways. Let the vultures handle it. And they do. Really well. Studies show that vultures in Spain alone remove over 8,000 tons of rotting meat from the environment every year. That's the equivalent of over 1.5 million euros saved in waste management and cleanup costs annually. Not bad for a bunch of birds doing what they've always done. But the bearded vulture takes things to another level. While most vultures feast on meat and organs, the bearded vulture is a bone specialist. Seriously. It flies high into the air with bones in its claws, drops them onto rocks to crack them open, and then eats the pieces. No joke. Its stomach acid is strong enough to dissolve bone. Why does that matter? Why does that matter? Because bones hold nutrients like calcium and phosphorus, and those nutrients can take decades to return to the soil naturally. But when a bearded vulture eats them, the process speeds up dramatically. Within a day or two, those minerals are back in the ecosystem, fertilizing plants and helping the food web stay healthy. So while most people wouldn't think twice about vultures, these birds are quietly doing critical work, preventing disease, recycling nutrients, and saving money just by showing up hungry. Bringing them back wasn't just a symbolic move. It was a smart, science-backed strategy. Another piece of the puzzle in restoring an ecosystem that used to work until humans broke it. And slowly, one species at a time, they're trying to fix it. Oh, and guess who else might be coming back? The Iberian lynx. So before any reintroduction could even be considered, scientists had one big question. Are there enough rabbits to support lynxes again? The answer? Not really. At least, not yet. Rabbit populations are still recovering, and without that solid base of prey, releasing lynxes too early could lead to disaster. But here's the twist. While rabbits are still low, deer and wild boar populations have exploded. With fewer natural predators and less human activity, these animals have spread fast and in big numbers. They're causing damage to crops, forest regrowth, and even road safety. So the lynx, once dismissed as too fragile for rugged rewilding, is now being considered as part of the solution. But scientists aren't just tossing them into the woods and hoping for the best. This is a slow, strategic rollout. Lynxes are being selected from breeding centers, not necessarily the best at producing lots of kittens, but ideal candidates for surviving in the wild. They're healthy, genetically diverse, and have shown good hunting instincts. Before release, they're trained to hunt live prey, avoid humans, and adapt to unfamiliar terrain. The idea is to rewild them before they ever step paw into the actual wilderness. Once released, they're supported with temporary food stations just until they're confident and self-sufficient. Over time, these supports are phased out. The long-term goal? Lynxes that hunt independently, control prey populations naturally, and reclaim their role as top predators in the ecosystem. This isn't just about saving a species, it's about restoring balance. With the lynx back in action, deer and boar populations could be kept in check. Overgrazed areas would start to recover, forests would grow more evenly, and the entire food web, from plants to prey to predator, could start working the way it used to. It's a gamble, sure, but if it works, the Iberian lynx could become the final puzzle piece in rebuilding one of Europe's most quietly broken ecosystems. You've got horses keeping the land open and fire safe, vultures cleaning up the mess, lynxes getting ready to manage the herbivore population, and actual economic opportunities from ecotourism. People are already traveling to see these animals in the wild. Local jobs are popping up. Small villages are seeing new life.